Well, hello everyone. This is Akua Hinds, and I hope you enjoyed watching part one, part two, part three, and part four of 20 Questions with Miki Grace. I'm joined by Michelle Bacani-Lim, also known as Miki Grace. And as promised, we're just gonna um, tell you a little bit about what's coming up. So, in the near future, very near future, Michelle and I will be doing another show on Akua Hinds Online called Big Goals and Big Dreams, Causes and Effects. We're going to get some of Michelle's tips, her expertise, some of her experiences, if she's willing to share, about how to
Absolutely.
release those goals and dreams that you have, how to build them,
Yeah.
how to build on them. So, we're going to see some more of that. Um, Many of you may know from um, visiting www.akuahinds.com and just viewing my content about the various things that I do. I am a journalist and I own two fabulous dating websites, www.interracialdesires.net for interracial dating and www.richsinglesdate.net for people looking to meet a wealthy partner. I'm also a music teacher. I teach singing and piano lessons. I do some acting as well. And I also have a home based business selling products for relationships, products for singles and for couples. It's a fabulous business. Very proud to be a part of it. And I'm also very proud to be friends with Michelle, who is a very accomplished individual in her own right. And I'm going to um, give her a chance to tell you more about herself. But you can find me on Twitter, Akua Hinds. So it's at Akua Hinds. On Facebook, I have a Facebook page for interracialdesires.net as well as richsinglesdate.net. I also have a public figure page. I would love for you to connect with me on that for Akua Hinds Media, Music, and Merchandise, which is the name of my company. You can also connect with me at www.akuahinds.com. I'm going to let the lovely, talented Michelle Bacani-Lim tell you a little bit more about herself and some of the things that she has coming up, exciting projects, exciting events.
Sure. Um, well, hopefully you've learned a little bit about me through the conversation that we've had. Probably a
I think we
lot.
learned a lot.
Yeah. I think the best way to describe who I am is, you know, producer, coach, public speaker. I do consulting for small and medium sized businesses, specifically in media sales, specifically in helping them to create the sales and marketing structure across
Yeah.
media campaigns that they require to share the word. I love sales. I think it's a huge component of who we are.
I do
It is what
too.
we do. I think that
Absolutely.
doctors are selling themselves. I think that lawyers are selling themselves to you as well. I mean, they're selling their service to you, and so I think one of my many purposes in this world is to help people fall in love with sales and understand that there's a purpose to what they're doing, and whatever it is they're selling, whether it's network marketing, which I have experience in,
Yeah.
whether it's RFID, um, or
RFID, can you?
radio frequency ID tags,
Okay.
which they use for inventory and different things like that. Whether it's with CS Productions, whether it's Canadian sport fishing, advertising on CHCH or
Yeah.
Rogers or what have you. Whether it's production of a movie,
Mm-hmm.
there's many ways that I work with individuals, and
Mm-hmm.
I love what I do. I love being self-employed. I love owning my own business. It's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there are challenges, but those challenges are, and that contrast is what drives that passion, and it's what allows us to know what it is that we really want. Um,
Absolutely.
I'm
Absolutely.
also a mother. I'm also a wife to an incredible, sexy, super amazing husband, soulmate, Christopher Lim, my two kids, Tristan and Brooklyn. And I just, I enjoy the industries that I work in. I find that the people that I engage with are typically, professionals, entrepreneurs, producers, filmmakers, writers, people who are creative. But most importantly, I think Nikki Grace explains precisely what it is that I do and what my purpose is, which is creating a haven of inspiration
I
to
love
create the
that.
life of your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And the life of people's dreams, I mean, your dream is so individual. It's so
Mm,
much, what you're passionate about. What are you blissed out about? What
mm,
is it that you want to express to this world? And you were talking about big goals and big dreams. And I think, I've actually done a number of talks on the shrinking of people's dreams, which
mm.
can happen because
Yeah, it's
if
important to know
if
about.
yeah, if you have looked at your life and you've reflected on your life and think, hey, I haven't achieved that and I haven't achieved this, and
Mm,
this got put down, and you've got naysayers
right.
surrounding you,
Mm,
um, you can turn into that person that just completely loses hope and
yes.
completely thinks that it's not
Yes.
achievable.
And that's what the naysayers want, just so you
Oh
know.
yeah.
They
Woo.
don't want you to see your
Absolutely.
dreams come true. It's sad to say, but sometimes those naysayers are people who are a part of our own families,
Oh
people
yeah.
we grew up with, friends, neighbors,
Yeah.
people who should be on your side, but for whatever reason they just aren't. So,
You know,
and yeah,
I'd love to reflect on that a little bit more
sure,
because
sure.
people hear about. I mean, both of us, I think, can relate to this story, which is, people hear about how many projects I'm working on and how many businesses I have,
And I
and
think it's so exciting.
and thank you.
You're
and
welcome.
and I mean, we have our many projects
That's right.
together. Thank God.
Yes.
I love it.
Me
I
too.
love working with you.
And stay tuned because we're going
Oh
to be
yeah.
presenting some really exciting
Oh,
projects for you all.
absolutely, absolutely. But you know, I people respond in their own ways and think,
Hmm.
oh, that's so elaborate and so big. And do you really think you're ever going to produce anything? And do you really think you're gonna, you know, do you really think that you're gonna live in that house or have that car or whatever it is your vision or goal is? And those naysayers are going to surround you and they're going to give you their own opinion. And going back to our, I think, our first conversation, which was about people pleasing
Yes.
and about, you
Hmm.
know, um, living up to people's expectations and letting other
That's
people
right.
determine, who you are and what you want to do. And I think that's so super dangerous. People need to go within and really look at, who are you really? What is your dream? Have you always wanted to be a yoga instructor? Have you
Yes.
always wanted to be a dancer? Well, you know what? You don't necessarily have to dance on Broadway. You can dance at the local theater, and that's still achieving your dream.
It's so true.
And you might end up on Broadway too.
That's right. That's
I
right.
mean, I still think we might end up on Broadway at some point in time too.
Oh, for sure. That was always my dream, and
Exactly.
I just think that you said it yourself in one of the previous parts of this series of the 20 questions of Mickey Grace on Akua Hinds Online. You mentioned that you're a recovering people pleaser. And
That's a good one.
I can totally I can relate to that for sure. And it took me a long time, and maybe you're watching this right now too, and you think that
I'm so
you have some.
surprised too because I've never seen you as that at
Oh,
all. I
I
think you're
definitely
so
have
confident
been.
and have such a
Oh, we need to
strong
have a
sense of self.
conversation. We need to
So,
have a
oh,
conversation
I'd love to have
about
a
definitely,
conversation. Yeah,
because I can definitely relate to that. And
that's wonderful.
but it took me a while to get, and thank you, that took me a while to get out of that zone. Um, because I realized that that isn't the way that I want to be, and it wasn't serving me. I
Hmm.
realized that, and I do know people who are younger, who are older, and they're surrounded by very self-centered people who don't want to invest the same kind of support in their lives that they're investing in them.
I love that you say
And
invest
mm,
because that's what it is. You
yes,
are paying a price. You are paying a fee
most definitely.
each and every time you put your dream down to be
Mm,
able to please someone else and to be able to live up to somebody else's vision of who you are. Now,
yes.
am I saying that you're going to quit your job tomorrow and, go ride your unicycle and start juggling if that's your dream?
I
I
haven't
mean,
seen
I
a
don't know if that's
unicycle in such a long time. I
I don't know. I
haven't
just
seen
I
a
just think of that. Like there might be someone out there that's their dream. And like I'm not saying that like you're gonna abandon your children and just like abandon your life. I'm
mm,
there's no way I'm encouraging that whatsoever. But
right.
what I am saying is like learn who you are, learn what you're passionate about because if you're not, it's likely that you're miserable. And if you're a grumpy
Mm,
ass, you're just not going to go anywhere. You're just not going to enjoy your life. And
it's so
I
true.
believe life was meant to be enjoyed. I really feel that there's a purpose on this planet for us to be in joy and be in bliss and enjoy our life.
We should. And when you were sharing that that story, Michelle, that true story of when your grandmother took you through, such a
Ooh,
contrast within the same
such a
morning,
contrast. Oh my
going
gosh.
through a poverty-stricken area
Oh.
in the Philippines to a completely different area where it was the opposite of that.
And she did
Yeah.
it on purpose, of course. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it was a planned situation that I mean, it was just two of us, and
Mm-hmm.
I knew what was happening. I knew what she was wanting to share. She didn't even say anything. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like,
I'm just getting chills right now.
I
I'm
don't
getting
remember her
chills.
giving a lecture ever about
Yeah,
that, but
so powerful.
I knew something about my grandmother, and it was just her generosity of spirit, her generosity of everything that she had, her resources, everything, and it was so beautiful because within that generosity you can because of that generosity, that's why she was able to live this luxurious life as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's why she was able to bring me to the Manila Hotel and have this delightful, amazing experience
Yeah,
too.
because the universe pays you back through karma.
Yeah.
And I think too that I would like to see slums eliminated. Just get rid of them. Just
Mm-hmm.
get rid of this whole. Some people live in a good way, and other people don't. There are people having barbecues every day, and there really are. I remember
Yeah.
when somebody said that to me when we were working at one of my old workplaces, and he said to me, Akua, I want to get out of here. I don't want to work here anymore. He said there are people having barbecues every day, and I said to him, that's right. And
Yeah.
we
There's
need to keep
sometimes
our
in the
eyes
summer
on
when
the
we do barbecues every day. Of course,
exactly. But
yeah, it's
honestly, like
completely
we
possible.
need to keep our eyes on the prize.
Yes.
And someone like your grandmother, you know, I think. I just get chills just thinking about that. Just chills of
You would have loved
power,
her.
you know.
You would have
I'm
loved her.
sure I would have.
She was so amazing. She was just such an amazing and inspiring woman.
Yeah,
She was
and
phenomenal.
she deliberately took you there, to show you that, how to give that gift of generosity
Oh
and
yeah.
spirit. And
Yeah.
really, I would like to see a world where you talked about wanting world peace, and that was quite interesting.
What you just said about getting rid of the slums is
I,
another
I
great
just would like to
wish. Can you
see
imagine?
all of that, all of this
Yeah.
whole, and that's something else that maybe we'll talk about more in big goals and big dreams, causes and effects. But
Yeah.
just getting rid of the stigma of certain things, and
Mm-hmm.
let's just as a worldwide community, banding together to get rid of the lack, get rid of that mentality of lack,
Mm-hmm.
that mentality of letting the naysayers take control of,
Oh, absolutely.
just getting rid of not only the physical slums so that everybody can live in peace and prosperity, but getting rid of the mental slums. So we'll talk about
I
that.
like that. I like getting rid of the mental slums because,
Thank you.
I had an amazing coaching session in the last few days. And during that session, we were talking about the power of your mindset and
Mm.
how the way that I take notes. If anyone is interested in a discovery session, I really encourage you to actually email Akua first. I'd actually love for them to do that so that you can see,
Sure.
who from your database is reaching out. But I'd love to offer maybe 3 complimentary discovery sessions to your database.
That would be lovely.
And, those complimentary discovery sessions are about 30 minutes to 40 minutes in time. It's entirely complimentary
And confidential,
and
right?
confidential and hugely valuable.
Mm-hmm.
But during this one session, the way that I was explaining to this new coaching client that the way that I take notes, it's extremely explicit for a purpose. I mean, I type like the wind, like I just type everything that they're saying.
Yeah.
And the purpose of that, there's a purpose to that because some people, I have to share, some people hate the way I take notes. Some people love the way I take notes. Here's why they hate it. They hate it because it's such an explicit description to them of exactly where their mindset is. It's a reflection to them of what they're saying to themselves, how they're saying it, how they're putting themselves down, how they
Mm.
are in the slums, how they're in the fucking slums, putting themselves down, beating themselves up. And that's why it's scary for people
Yeah,
to
so
see that.
sad.
But some people love it and the reason why people love it is hopefully I will share with them and guide them into loving it and coach them into loving it, is because when you can look at that, it's just like a journal. When you can reflect and see,
Mm.
where has my mind been, where have I been playing, what space have I been hanging out in, have I been putting myself down, have I been putting other people down, have I been judging people, in
Or
the
letting
last
other people
or letting
put
other
me
people,
down.
am I been people pleasing? Like
Mm.
all the topics we talked about today could totally be. spoken
Absolutely.
about. Yeah.
So, and this is open not only this offer, is it open only to people living in our local area or worldwide?
No, worldwide. We can host, I can easily host conversations through Skype, FaceTime, through email, through the phone.
Hmm.
All you need is a phone. We can also meet in person if it's local, but definitely over the phone. And all you need to do is just find a scheduled time. And as I said, I promise I will set aside 3 discovery sessions just for this conversation here.
Well, that's wonderful, and that's so generous, and that's why Michelle is North America's ontological coach and producer.
Let me prove it to you. Give me a shout.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for watching, and please do stay tuned. There are going to be more um, thought-provoking and passionate discussions. There's going to be a lot more coming up. So please do connect with us via social media, on our own personal websites, and take Michelle up on her offer. You'll be very glad
Please.
that you did,
Yeah.
most definitely. And thank you so much. Bye for now. And
Thank you, Akua.
you're welcome. Thank you, Michelle. I
Thank
hope you
you.
got to know Michelle a little bit more. And if there are more questions you have, connect with her.
Absolutely. Bye, everyone.
Bye.